The iceberg was not a large one, but it was big enough so that the seal and I were not crowded, and I was grateful for that. The seal was asleep after its night of hunting. It was a crab-eater seal, and crab-eaters live on krill, not crab, and as far as I know, do not eat people. I willed it to stay asleep and not even notice that Vicky Austin was sharing its iceberg, which was floating majestically in the dark and icy waters of the Antarctic Ocean, or that my heart was beating wildly with terror. The sun was out, and the sky was high and blue and cloudless. I was shivering uncontrollably despite my long winter underwear, turtleneck, heavy sweater, bright red parka. I had on lined blue jeans with yellow waterproof pants over them. I wore 3 pairs of socks under green rubber boots. I was highly visible, if there had been anyone around to see me. I tried to control my panic, to assess my situation. Several things could happen. I could be missed and someone would come for me. That was my brightest hope. But I had to face the possibility that nobody would find me in this vast space, and that I would ultimately freeze to death. Or the iceberg might overturn as they sometimes do, and I would be plunged into the water and die quickly from hypothermia. I looked around me in all directions. There were dozens more icebergs, many with seals on them. There was a hunched shadow of land on one horizon. No sign of human life. In the water, I saw 3 penguins flashing by, heading for land. Penguins fly in the water, rather than in air. I watched them until I could not see them any longer. They say that drowning people relive their entire lives in a flash. I'd been on the iceberg only a few minutes, long enough to be terrified, but not long enough to despair. That would come later. How did I get to be on an iceberg in Antarctic waters in January, which is summer? But even summer is cold in that land of unremitting ice. It went back a few months to those last weeks of summer before school starts. I was still 15 then, feeling lost and alien, though I had yet to learn what being truly alien feels like. My family and I had come home to our little village of Thornhill after a year away. My adored grandfather was dead. The only really good thing in my life was that I'd see Adam soon. Adam Eddington, who'd had a summer job in the marine biology lab with my older brother, John. Adam and I had become friends during the summer, and if the friendship meant more to me than it did to Adam, well, I would just have to live with that. I knew that some of the time I was only John's kid sister in Adam's eyes, but there were other times when it was a lot more than that. In another week, John would be going back to MIT, and Susie and I would be in the regional high school, Susie as an 8th grader, and I'd be starting my junior year. Our little brother Rob would still be in the village school. It all should have been normal and okay, but I'd been away for a year, and I'd grown and changed. And even before school started, I felt I no longer belonged. So when Adam called from New York to say he was spending a weekend with his Aunt Serena in nearby Clovenford before flying to California to college, and would it be all right if he came for dinner on Friday, it was as though the sun had suddenly come out after a foggy day. He arrived around 6:30, driving up in an old and beautiful Bentley, much to John's envy. I was sorting laundry, one of my least favorite chores, but I kept on folding clothes, rather than rushing out to join John and Rob, who were admiring the great old car.